Hello, I'm doing a little thing here, basically overcoming, everything's falling to bits. I'm overcoming a challenge in a sort of practical, hands-on-y sort of way. It might look like a weird sort of thing, but what I've just demonstrated to myself is that by using handheld tools I can replicate, or I can drill some through body what's-its in the right place, string holes in the right place, and have them come out the back in a straight line. So if I draw a line between them, end to end, it's a rubbish surface I've come through onto, but you should still be able to see. So I don't know about you, but many people, myself included, can't get a strap body into the drill press to drill through these string-through holes. So I've got a guitar I want to go here, and I want to put holes all the way through, and I can't reach them because I put them into the drill press and it stops just short. Okay, so what I just did was I made a dummy piece of wood to drill into. I made a dummy of where my bridge sits, which I've got on the original, and then I lined up this one like that on the centre line, using this centre line here, and then I used this, which I've already drilled in the drill press, okay, because I can get in there. So this nice solid bit of wood becomes a template thing, you know what I mean, what's it? Yes, that thing. Jig mould, something like that. So technically speaking, we get up here like this, and we go, right, here's our same thing, okay, and I can line up front of this dead on the centre line, which I know. Now the importance of this being exactly in the right place is that if I go through and get it in the wrong place, it's going to, no, because it's the string through holes, I still have a little bit of movement available to me. But what I really want to do is I want to make sure that these go through in a straight line and then all the way through vertically. And I want them to be under the bridge in the right position for when I come to position the bridge. So I've done the bridge movement around, I've lined it up with the neck bolted in place, and I've used 2 guide strings as a start point. So I know where the neck should, the bridge should be, and I've lined it up there, and there's my starter holes. So based on the same with a little piece of spare wood. Now what I don't know about this is how well it's going to come out the back end, and some people, because it doesn't come brilliantly, often doesn't exit cleanly through here, you need a piece of wood very firmly fixed to the underside to allow the continuation of the, well, not fixed, but a piece of timber flush to the underside of here, so it can allow it to exit. This did a fair job of it, but it's hard to tell exactly because there's so much, this is a scrap piece of wood. So I could do another test before I do anything by putting this down, and let's get a clean piece of that wood. And I'm going to run out of batteries in a minute, but let's say we're going through here. So really what I'm just concerned about is the exit from this piece of wood here. That isn't too bad, and this is quite a grainy oak anyway. So there's a little bit of thingy out, cut out, chip out. What I'm going to do with that anyway is I'm going to, when time comes, I'm going to put in one of these here, ferrules anyhow, which has, that was a, how many mils? That was a 5.5 mil, and this comes in at 6.5. So we need to go through with we need to add a little bit of drill out for 6 mils there. So what I would probably do, just for the fun of completing this, I would probably, if this was my exit on the other side, I'd probably do a little bit of a countersink there to give myself a bit of room. And then I'd get the 6, and I would this sort of fellow would go in there with a bit of a bash in with the hammer. And that's 6, that's 6.5. And I don't want to do the 6.5 because I suspect it won't grip the ferrule at all. Let's try it. Let's go through from the top. Get rid of some of that. I wasn't too bothered, by the way, about going vertical at this point, but there's the bigger hole. There it is. There's the exit. A little bit of flake on there. You know, actually it's pretty straight in. That would be probably better. Use the 6 then, and then a tap on that, and that would sit in really nicely. He said wobbling to get it out. Yeah, so the 6. So I'm not going through with the 6mm. I'm going through with something else. Now let's just double check. That is the 6 over there. I'm going to go drill through with this one here, which is whatever it is. That's 5. Okay. Now the important thing is when it comes through out of the back of the guitar body, we want it to go through as cleanly as possible. So we need to make sure that this is as I like it to be, there we go, snug on the thingy. Okay, so you can't really see from that angle, which is brilliant. Right, that's nicely lined up, but so we line it up on the centre line and the front line. Okay, and the thing I demonstrated to myself just before this is that I can do this without even some way of tagging this down. So realistically, you're not going to get very good. You can't. There's nothing we can do to fix this to that or this to that. We could possibly, no, we can maybe try. Possibly could make a jig and use a little bit of hidden space here, but my little experiment just now showed me that I could do the whole thing without actually tying it down. So let's just hope the drill keeps going. I need to be able to go through both pieces like that. So here's my first piece. Make sure it's sat down nicely. Right, now I'm just getting some of the bits out of the way. If you were nervous, you could take that bit off now and use the guide to go through the last bit, but let's say we just go straight through and we're on the deck. So the first thing I want to see is, look, we're on target and we're not through. That's because this is a thicker piece of wood than the other one. Well, that isn't so bad because we can come through these all separately. We've now got a deep enough hole in here to guide us to the last bit of the way. So I'm happy with that. What we can also do, this is what I did before, is we can put one of these pieces in and just fill them up with these pins as we go through, and they will sink to the uppermost height of the, so they'll sink down to the level we've drilled to. So important thing is, it's all important, but centre line is critical. I'm going to go now to this one along here. Now that shook me around a bit, so let's just make sure it's right. Right, there's another one. Now these are loose because they're 4 and these are bigger 5mm holes, but they're just kind of helping me to keep the thing in place as I do the next one along, and it tells me which ones I've done and which ones I haven't as well. Okay, it's all on target so far. So the thing about this is giving it the vertical support, right? So that, which you couldn't get in any other way without a drill press of some sort. And to be honest, I haven't got one of these standalone drill presses. So if you haven't got a standalone, but you have got a drill press like I have, then this is the way to do it. So as long as the centre line's good and the front edge is pretty good, go look, ta-da, all of them done. Ta-da. Look, they look quite tidy. Are they on target? Well, they're about as close as I need to go, and front and back they're pretty good because I've got a tiny bit of, well, I've got room on the intonation. Now this one, as it happens, once I've got this put in its place, which looks pretty nice right there, they're all lined up beautifully. Once I've positioned this in its place, I've actually got to, well, before I do, I've got to take a few more mil out of this neck pocket, and that's because I did it for a different bridge, and I'm going to use this one instead of that one. So oh, I've messed up my little bits here. Right, so the fun part now is, now I'm not sure about this. Is there? I wonder if there is a. We've got a drill bit that exits the hole a bit differently. Now I'll do a test and let's see if we've got anything that does it. I'm looking for one of those wood drills. It might not be the right one, but at least I could try. I want one ideally the same size to be supported vertically in the same way. I'm just grabbing a couple that I've got kicking about, none of which are the right size by the looks of it. No, that one might be. What does it say? 5 mils. Right on the mark. Okay, so what I'm interested in just double checking with this one is that it can go through the back side. I want to exit the piece of wood without tearing, so I'm going to put this out of the way for a minute. I'm going to do another little test like this. I'm going to go down to close to the I went too far through. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, so let's have a look and see how this exits. Well, pressed against this oak. Yeah, nice and clean. Possibly a little bit cleaner than the other one. Let's have a look one more time. Oh, let's go through with this one all the way. Yeah, about much of a muchness, to be honest. There's going to be what it kicks up is just about enough to cover up with the, or take away with the additional diameter for the whatchamacallit, those things. You know the ones I mean, the bits that go in the back. Ferrules. Okay, let's try and find. I've been chopping this up now with drill bits, but all right. So here we want to go through, right? There we are. Hello. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. By the time we put a little bit of a bevel on that, we'll be in good shape. So as I let it go down, first of all, I'm not putting any pressure on it, I'm letting it find its way into the hole and keeping the verticality of it. Right, there's your holes. Now I could never have done that without making that little jig. Alright, a little bit of flake out there, but nothing major. See how straight those are? That just wouldn't have been possible. If you tried to do that with a handheld drill, that would have been all over the place. I'm promising you, been there, done it, bad way. So just what I want to just do, if I can find the bit in this one, I ought to tidy up in a second. What I'm just going to do now is I'm just going to add a very light bit of countersink, just a small amount. And the reason for that is I want the 6mm drill bit to have a start point. It's also cleaning up a little bit. I'm not going to put them in yet because I've got a load of oiling to do, but that next stop on this would be the 6mm bit. Now this, I still can't reach it on my drill press. What would be great is to have a sort of limit to how far this goes in, but actually that's pretty much going to have to be a handheld affair. Okay, so we've got a guide there. There we go. Now all we have to do, all we have to know, is that this is beyond the length or beyond the depth of the ferrules. It's a bit tight, but so we go down and we go. Now a simple way of doing that is we could just get a piece of, whatchamacallit, tape, and just use one of these to gauge it and give ourselves a clear shot at it. It doesn't have to be too accurate. In fact, you can have a little bit more than less, if anything, but that will give me a good guide. Good guide. So I'm just going to go back into here. Okay, that's fine. Lovely. Now obviously this is freehand. That one's a little bit wonky. It's a bit more elliptical, okay? But once I get the ferrules in, it'll be fine. Okay. I mean, if I wanted to, do you know what? We're just going to no, we're going to do a bit of sanding to get that off. So, all right. But once we've got the black ferrules in there, that's going to look pretty good. So that is my my ferrule positions. Now the other thing I just want to mark up now I've committed to this is just to mark up the bridge. Oh, I tell you what, let's just double check that. We'll mark the bridge screws. A nice rack of bridge screws to go there. Just clear that out a minute. Okay, so line these back up. Check my rumbling stomach. Check our footprint more than anything else. We just want to make sure that's right back on its footprint where we marked up. Okay, because this is going to be the ultimate positioning. Is going to be these screw holes. So I'm not too worried if the string through holes are a tiny fraction off centre. What I want to be able to do is to trust my foundation screw holes. So I'm just going to go back through these and put a tiny blip on each one of these. And with a couple of ways you can do it. You can probably better with a little fine pointed thingy. Get that marked up on the dead centre. Give it a little bash for a start point. It's probably the best way to get the centre point of these. More accurate than using that wood thing that's got a bit of a strange off-sided, one-sided blade. So we're just going to get this jeweler's file as a sort of pointer really. And that one's slightly off centre, that one, I could see it slide. And actually, if you're nervous about any of these, you know, identify your definites and get them in first. And if there are any question mark ones, do them last. Because the best thing to do is to, depending on what your screws are, which I don't actually have immediately to hand, but what we'd do is we would drill the two end ones, screw them in, make sure it's dead on target, and then we would possibly drill from here down into the other ones to make sure they're comfortably in as well. Okay, so I had to take that bridge apart to do all of this, but now I've got the marks here, okay, so, and I've got the holes, so actually I'm pretty much in a position where I don't need anything else now on top of here. That's where we are. So I'm pleased with that. I've been meaning, a couple of times I've done a string through in the past, and I've done it handheld because of the same problem with that thing, pillar drill, and it wasn't perfect. This is much better. By the time those are in, they're going to look very good. So this is now, this has been coated with conductive paint, and I've got a grounded lug here screwed in, ready to go to ground the pick guard, and then I've coated over this in shellac because it's still doing the job of shielding. That's grounded before I coated it, and so I've got a shielded thing here, but it's I can touch it without all the black stuff coming off, which is really unpleasant, and that's what happens. So you have to clean up as you go along. Right, there you go. I hope that was interesting. Do what I did. Duplicate your base of your, what's it? So you've made your bridge mark on the actual guitar. Duplicate it on here. Go up to the edge of a nice flat block of wood. Drop the edge lines down. Get the center line exactly as it is on the where it's sitting on the one in the. It should be dead center, but actually mine was about 0.5 millimeter to one side. But I recreated exactly as it was on the guitar. Then you've got this block dead flat, ready to act, and then you drill those out with the pillar drill, because you can put this under the pillar drill, and you'll get a load of dead vertical, you know, perfectly vertical or near perfectly vertical drill holes, and these then become your guide. And you can see that if you're careful, you can do it all handheld. You don't need to try and make any special jigs. Now I've got to put this bridge mostly back together. These are funny. These little black screws, actually, springs, actually, they seem to lose their springiness. They're a bit crap. Anyway, right, thanks for watching. I hope that was useful. It was to me. I've never done that before, so you saw it there. Well, I did the test, but you saw it there for real. Thanks. Bye.